obviously you make a lot of mistakes. That's just life, and you learn from it. But the best part is just building teams. I have a saying that the best capital, actually the only capital, is human capital.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumi, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Meet Noam Rabinovitch, CTO and co-founder of EverC. Noam is EverC's CTO and co-founder. EverC's mission is to reduce online payment cybercrimes by developing technology that will enhance the transparency of the internet. Noam has extensive experience in leading development teams, as well as building technology for sophisticated data mining algorithms, machine learning models, and AI. He has recently launched EverC's newest solution for e-commerce, MarketView. This solution is set to eliminate hazardous and counterfeit product sales on marketplaces. Noam is a TAU graduate with a BSc in computer science and economics. Noam Rabinovitch, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders, founder and CTO of EverC. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Michael, for having me on board. I'm super excited. Nice to be here.
Thank you for coming all the way from New York. It looks sunny and beautiful. Here it's dark and cloudy, and so I feel in the same room with you, and it already makes me feel better. And I have a feeling we're gonna have a really fun conversation today about an entrepreneurial journey that is really unordinary, with a lot of interesting lessons along the way. And Noam, you founded EverC almost 13 years ago. Today you're in New York, and you've had quite a journey with this company with some incredible people. Raz Abramov, one of which was on the show a while back, and I'm really excited to get your perspective into this founder's journey and what you're doing in cybersecurity world and validating market in really unique ways. And so, Noam, tell me a little bit about yourself, and how did you ever even find yourself in EverC?
Yeah, that's quite the journey, as you mentioned. And just a bit about myself. I grew up in Israel, in Rishon. Did military service. Started in intelligence unit, on field intelligence unit. Then moved to a technological division. After that, Tel Aviv U for computer science and economics. 34 years old. Recently had a baby, which is a life-changing experience. And have been for the company for just over a decade, as you mentioned. Super, crazy journey all along, ups and downs, and, sideways. Early days were so different than what we are today. Where do you want me to start?
Well, take me through, walk me through your sort of your mind and how your brain works, and maybe the primary experiences that led to you wanting to even start your own company.
Yeah, so I grew up with entrepreneurial parents, or my parents have their own businesses, which I guess had its effect on me. None of my parents were employees. They ran their own business with all the hardship that it brings in. My parents to date work crazy hours, even though they're into their 60s, and kudos to them. And I think I grew up with that spirit, and I never even thought of getting a quote unquote a day job. I moved in from being, a contractor, code for hire, pay me, I'll write the code that you want, into building in my own company. Once I met, the right partners, and we partnered up and, quote unquote, killed it.
I love it. Okay, so EverC, what field are we in even when we're talking about EverC, and what is EverC? What does it mean?
Yeah, so when we started the company, it was called Ever Compliant, and we had ambitious goals around setting up a generic compliance solution. Little did we know at the time that we were too small and too naive to actually pull up such a solution. But as you mentioned, the way shapes you, the way you travel, the where
Yeah.
you travel, that shapes you and gets you along the way. Throughout, we've learned from our customers, and we're able to get into different spaces. We've always been a B2B company. To date, we run two major products. One of them is called MerchantView. One of them is called MarketView. Neither is, per se like a compliance solution. It does give a compliance perspective, and it does help with compliance, but it's not the original name Ever Compliant. So hence we went with a shorter, nicer name, EverC. We're playing on the C, as in like we see everything versus like Ever Compliant. And we basically put as a goal to illuminate the darkest corners of the web, and find all the bad stuff and help prevent the bad stuff that's happening on the web, mainly focused on illicit and illegal trade that's happening on the web, and help players prevent that.
Sounds very simple. And I'm joking, of course. Now, most people validate some of their ideas by, doing Zoom calls, reaching out to customers, playing around with getting surprised. You had quite a unique experience in the way that you started validating your idea, and actually that experience shaped a big part of the remainder of your journey. So tell me about Atlanta.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. So, when we started, we operated from a small office. It was about 80 square meters in Rishon LeZion, just under a pool joint. If you were to work later in that office, you would get quite the experience with, some elevator rides with people who, went up and down in that from that pool joint. And trust me, that's not the place to like walk around at night too much. It was like kind of a, industrial area, not very not the best place. I don't want to say anything negative, but not the best, greatest of place. But it worked for us at the time. We had a handful of customers in Israel, banks to be exact, and they gave us, I think, the greatest gift for this company. So we were actually serving them with a product that today is discontinued. As I mentioned, had to do around compliance, more specifically PCI compliance. Super boring. I'm not going to get into that. And one of our clients came to us and told us, hey, I have this massive problem. I was just fined for facilitating gambling, even though for the life of me, I never intended to do so. I don't do that. And we basically said, you know what, let us look at that. Let's look at that. And what we saw was amazing. We looked at the entire portfolio, and we found a bunch of players under this bank that basically opened accounts, falsely declared their intention. One of them, was a computer service shop. Another did other type of things. Each one of them actually did bad stuff that the bank did not want under their books, right? One of them was basically a host for adult entertainment cameras. So you could get girls on cameras. The bank never wanted to facilitate those transactions, but they presented themselves as a shop that fixes computer. The other guy, was running an online casino, which the bank never really wanted to deal with, and didn't have the proper license to deal with. But they presented themselves as like a convenience store, and put the bank at harm's way while exploiting the system. And that kind of like was an aha moment for us, because we then realized, wait, it's that easy? Like the bank would look at your, transaction records and would make sure, you don't have any criminal record or whatever it is that is legal in your country. Are you in debt? Are you in, whatever shape or form you are? Would look at your scores all around to lend you credit. But when it comes to opening a business account and giving you an acquiring bank giving you access to the payment system, they would go ahead and just plain ask you, what is it that you're doing, right? Like, what business are you in? And if you, Michael, let's say, are a bad guy, you're probably not going to tell the bank, hey, dear bank, I'm a bad guy and I really want to do business with you. How about you give me an account? No, you're just going to, present yourself as a, nice, low risk guy to the bank and say, hey, I have a pet store. I want to be able to accept payments in my pet store. And it shocked us, right? That's the extent of the, background check and tools and technology that was available to the bank. So we not right away, actually, we rushed to get in touch with, MasterCard, global MasterCard. And we wanted to go to MasterCard and tell them, hey guys, there's kind of like somewhat of a flaw, an inherent flaw in how the payment system is designed. You don't really know where the payment is from. Who does it belong to? That's like, look 10 years back, like we're thinking that, we're sitting in Rishon, like we're shocked. We're not sure what to do. So it took us a while to get into, to get a meeting with MasterCard. And, us good Israelis, we wanted to maximize that trip to the US. As we planned that trip to the US carefully, we also set up a few other meetings. As luck would have it, the first meeting was in Atlanta with a potential business partner that was supposed to, sell our product. As we get out of this meeting, an event of once in a century, literally once in 100 years happened. It started snowing in Atlanta. For those of you who don't know, that really doesn't happen that often, at least not until then. Hashtag global warming or whatever you want to call it. And we found ourselves, about to go to the airport to catch a flight back to New York to go to that all exciting meeting with MasterCard to tell them what we know and learn and, try to get pumped. And then we're like, I'm getting a phone call from American Airlines saying, sir, your flight's been canceled. And I'm saying, so that's it. There's no more flights leaving Atlanta. It's one of the biggest airports in the United States. No more flights leaving. What do you do? So, us Israelis, nothing gonna stop us. Open Google Maps, navigate to MasterCard headquarters in New York, and look at the phone and says, roughly give or take 13 hours drive. So we headed to the airport, went to the car rental, rented a minivan, and the three of us, we drove overnight in shifts, like one guy's driving, the other guy is sitting in a car, and one guy's sitting in the back, sleeping, resting, and we, changed overnight, got to New York in the morning, like the craziest drive through a snowstorm, 13 hours, getting to New York, eyes shut red, like your eyes like popping red, wash our face in a gas station, suit up, and getting to that meeting, which, by the way, doesn't give you any credit, any points. It's just like, this is how easy it was.
Unbelievable.
And, to our pleasant surprise, we walked there with, they were very polite. Nobody said, oh, your eyes are as red as if you were partying all night, which we haven't. And then, we talk to them and we tell them, hey guys, there's something wrong, in the way that the payment system is doing. A lot of people can take advantage. They can hide the true nature of their transaction. And, to our pleasant surprise was like, yeah, we know. What can you do about it? So at that point, that was like a pivotal point for the company. From there on, they tested our technology themselves. And it was so urgent that while doing so, they referred us to one of the largest financial institutions in America to start working with them.
Just incredible, and I can only imagine, what those 13 hours must have been like. And obviously, arriving in MasterCard, I mean, it's literally like it's like a Hollywood movie. It's a little similar to like the story of The Hangover without the hangover part of it, but definitely like a similar happenstance along the way. Now, from that point, you're basically growing EverC, and you're becoming more and more knowledgeable in this domain, and you're developing various solutions. So, walk me through sort of the different phases of the company reaching up to now.
Yeah, so the phase I mentioned to you, I don't know, don't hold me to it, but roughly just under 10 employees signing one of the biggest financial institutions in the US realize, okay, we probably gonna go ahead and raise some money now to be able to serve such an intense and big opportunity. We went ahead. We found great partners. Our first round was led by, at the time, Carmel Ventures, now Viola Ventures. Great financial partners. There were some other great partners that joined along, like Nika Partners, which is led by Hans Morris. For those of you who know him from the fintech industry, great guy, formerly president of Visa, which is someone you definitely want on your side when you do what we do. And then from there on, climbing through the steps. And it's funny, you made the joke that it sounds easy. Raz is my partner who was on this show, and another techie himself. And I think halfway through developing this solution, we realized how intense and hard this technology is. So our joke was like, next startup, we're doing something easy. Like you look at some of our friends are doing things that I bet they have their challenges, but it appears easy from the outside. And we went ahead and we said, we're going to look at banks, we're going to look at their clients, and we're going to tell you which one of their clients is not who they say they are. Which is kind of, it's challenging. Let's call it challenging.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it took us through a journey when we had to, build crazy operations at the time. I think 2014, 2015, dealing with technological challenges that were not solved, were not off the shelf. Like we needed to build our own graph database solution because nothing off the shelf could support the scale that we needed. We had to come up with so many problems that scale had that the call is not long enough for that.
I can completely see that. What did you enjoy most on your journey until now? If you had to sort of think, for yourself, Noam, which part really, drove your, passion and ambition here? What was it?
I think, to be fair, over this journey and more specifically over the past 2 years, obviously you make a lot of mistakes. That's just life and you learn from it. But the best part is just building teams. I have a saying that, the best capital, the only capital is human capital, right? That's all that matters to it. 2 years ago, we were presented with a new challenge. If our first solution had to do with players, pretending to be someone they're not, we were presented with yet another challenge. And I could tell you that during my experience, the best information came from paying customers or from customers that have a need. And if you're lucky enough to be able to, get in front of a customer with a need and you have the right tools to be able to extract that information from the customer, and you're able to turn it around. We were able to go from a POC in early 2019 to a 6-digit deal in 2020 to a very high 7-digit operation for our new product. 2-year-old product with a great team. And one of the things I enjoy the most is, putting together a team and seeing people who, just flourish, dealing with challenges, killing it, and making a lot of success in a way.
So what are you more excited about, the compliance piece of things or the entrepreneurial side of things? Because, we started the conversation with, this understanding and this aha moment that it's almost drove you insane with the opportunity here and what you're discovering. But then I'm hearing the excitement and the passion of the entrepreneurial journey along the way.
Yeah, that for me is super exciting. I'm a big fan of challenges, both technological, big data challenges, but also on the business side, how do you make a solution financially viable, right? How do you find a solution financially viable? Our latest product, MarketView, that helps marketplaces and e-commerce platform clear out bad products from their platform, that product can tell apart, illegal drugs from prescription pharmaceuticals, from counterfeit Louis Vuitton bags. And how do you make that product, financially viable for customers, and you're able to scan so many products in so long time? Just to give you an example, throughout 2021, we've had over 3 billion requests to that service, way above 3 billion requests to that service. And you operate on very thin margins. And how do you make that, business operation work? How do you leverage the people you have in your team? How do you leverage their capabilities in order to create one-of-a-kind solution? And that is super exciting. That's like one of the best experiences you can have.
Noam, incredible journey that it sounds like it's, we're just in the middle of it, and there's ways to go, and incredible stories that, I think will keep you thinking and keep others thinking and entertained for a long, long time. And I can only try to put myself in your shoes and how it's feeling. And I'm jealous. I want to have those experiences. And so I really thank you for sharing them with me here and spending this time with me. I know how busy you are, and thank you for the great work that you're doing for all of us, really, in humanity. And we're talking about impact. This is pure impact, and helping with a huge ripple effect and putting the world in order. So thank you, and stay safe and stay healthy, Noam.
Thank you, Michael.